Alright, welcome to another episode of Drawing on Fridays with Landon Huber, the Landon Huber Experience, and I'm Landon Huber. So today what we're gonna be drawing is a cool zombie-like creature coming up from the ground, or from a hole in the ground, possibly a grave, and maybe someone else behind him, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's get started here. Alright. First thing I usually start out is placing the head, although that's not a rule of thumb. And this guy, since he's coming up from the grave, should want his arm to be kind of way out like this. He had to just claw his way out. And then maybe his body, this. What I'm trying to do first is establish a certain motion in his body right from the get-go. Thinking of everything as a three-dimensional object, and then this hand over here, like clawing. Okay, so that's his body. So where do I want the light source? I'm going to be putting a shadow right there. Heard it called a Terminator, which was a movie that I really enjoyed when I was growing up. And although people like the first Terminator, people like the second Terminator, I like it too. It was pretty groundbreaking in terms of like 3D CGI effects and stuff. At the time were pretty new. I just like, I don't know, like the whole thing of Arnold not being a bad guy just didn't do it for me, because I think the element that made the first one really scary to me, I think, was because he was a bad guy. So it was like this, the whole concept of the Terminator was like a bad dream you might have, where there's just this thing that keeps coming at you, keeps coming at you, keeps coming at you, no matter what you do to try to kill it, And then at the end, basically, you wake up. But when they went to like doing the Terminator Part 2, though, and turning him into basically a good guy, and then coming up with this whole conceptual storyline and stuff. I mean, the story is part of it, and everything, but just for me personally, it didn't get to me on the emotional level. But that being said, this is not a show about movie critics. I'm not a movie critic. I don't want to be. But I have opinions, and sometimes I might say them. Otherwise, though, it was a pretty cool movie, Terminator 2. Okay, so here we go. This zombie is coming up out of the ground. There's going to be things falling off of him. There's going to be pieces of the ground that are splitting open. An entrance to the ground down here, where he's coming up. And I'm just already loosely indicating lighting here. Now his hands would be that. Because even, you know, I hear people say, why you always draw monsters and this and that? It's like, well, I don't know, I like it. But when I'm drawing, I'm also trying to implement, I'm not just going for gore and stuff like that. I'm trying to implement a certain amount of action and movement and many other things to try to make the piece appealing. Composition, lighting, and still, so far, this is very loose gestural. And in these shows, I'm doing in a half hour, and anybody who's tried drawing an entire detailed picture in half hour, it's not easy. And so what you will see by the end of this episode is more of a loose but yet completed drawing, in which I would go in later and spend my time to fine-tune, tweak, ink, and color, and then bring to you on my Etsy store as a Halloween t-shirt, which you guys should go check out. It's a pretty cool shop, landonhuberart.etsy.com. It's a cool place where I sell t-shirts and posters of these cool Halloween related artwork. And right now, guys, it is Halloween season. So head on over to, well, of course, by the time you see this video, who knows? Well, in my world, it's always Halloween season. All year round. But yeah, head over to landonhuberart.etsy.com. I'm gonna plug it in at least once in every one of these videos. So for those of you who are watching the other videos, don't get too mad at me. Okay, so we have something going here. As in many Halloween pictures, he should have a moon. And I think I'm going to actually have another guy over here kind of creeping up on him. So let's start to block that in. You can see I start with a general shape of a head there. Maybe I should be a little bit more over here. Move it. And then the hand kind of coming back here. Coming down a little bit more. Less of a turn on that head. This arm kind of coming out like this. This hand kind of coming down here. Out of this shadow. So this guy over here is kind of going to be part of the composition. So there's kind of like a triangle here. But he's also coming towards the camera. I'll have this leg kind of coming out like this, and then his back leg going back into the distance, and then right there is maybe his foot. So his knee and his foot, to try to just a little show that his foot is going back. That foot's going back, this foot's coming forward. And even though a lot of that is going to be in shadow, that's kind of the gesture I'm trying to indicate there. And have this kind of fluid gesture form in here. And maybe some eyes, nose, and shadow. This guy in the back, a lot of this guy in the background should be in shadow. It shouldn't be too much of a focal point, you know. Alright, so maybe in the background here would just be an indication of a ground of some kind, just to kind of indicate where the ground and sky would meet. And then a few other indications of ground and grasses. And maybe just an old little twiggly tree. To kind of show another interesting element over there. And I don't know, maybe some clouds or something that's jetting out right here, kind of create this whoosh movement in the drawing. Don't want to make them all the same size though. Alright, so with what I got here so far, I have pretty much the picture is forming. So another plug, for those of you who don't know, I'm also a musician, although for the last few years I haven't been working on music because I've been working on art non-stop. But I have made some really good albums. I'll plug two of them. You can find them in the playlists of this YouTube channel. One of them is Creature of Emotion, which is my first album. And it's described as having 60s and 90s rock elements in them, but I wrote all the songs, I recorded all the parts myself, and You guys should check it out. It's pretty good. Another one is a collaboration project called the Hole in the Wall Gang, which I did with my cousin Jeff Jones, and that one is more just fun, funny, but also cool songs. Satirical and fun. Creature of Emotion is a little bit more, as the title would indicate, emotional. But both are pretty cool and worth listening to. So you can find the playlist on this YouTube channel. And okay, so I don't know what the time is, and I should have checked that. So actually, let me check that. Where are we at? 17 minutes. All right, we're at least at the halfway point. So I need to start darkening this stuff and solidifying it. And I am considering, I'm kind of going back and forth on this, guys, but I am more considering now actually doing subsequent shows where I do go in and fine-tune these drawings more, because, again, like I've said, there is only so much I can do in 30 minutes. And you guys like content? YouTube likes content. So I've always had the opinion that more doesn't always mean better. And I still have that opinion, but man, you got, YouTube and the internet, they need content, and it's got to be pumped out. And so why not? But I am trying to make the content of quality. I'm not gonna just give you a bunch of crap, guys. And sorry if I'm kind of like rambling a little bit. Right now, when I get into the creative side of my brain, I kind of just tune out. I'm not even analyzing all the time what I'm doing, I'm just, and I guess it's just like, it's like instinct, second nature at some point, And then if I do a lot of shows, you might hear me repeat the kind of same concepts over and over, and I don't want to just repeat myself over and over, so trying to keep it interesting. I don't know why this just popped in my mind, but it ties in with like spooky themed music. And when I was a kid, there was a show called Inspector Gadget. And the theme music was spooky to me. It was do 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 do, Inspector Gadget, do 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 do, woo woo, do 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 do, Inspector Gadget, do 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 do, dun dun, something like that. That's kind of a spooky little melody, and it puts you in a certain frame of mind. So that's the music you should be. This, see, I might want to give a turn. So this leg, maybe I can indicate jetting out a little bit more than that leg, even though all you're seeing is just those tops of the legs. Gives it a twist, Sorry if I'm bouncing all over the place with my talking and drawing here. You guys can get through it, right? But that would be the theme song of this video for some unknown reason. It's the Inspector Gadget theme song. So if you guys are listening or watching this video, if you don't want to hear me gab on and on, turn on the Inspector Gadget theme song, and then you can watch this video and it'll work, guys. It went through my brain, and it would tie in to this artwork here. Now you see right there on the hand, I'm not gonna go in and like outline everything per se, because I've already indicated the form. And these lines indicate form, and if I do that, you take away motion and movement and every effect that you're going for. So that's what it is. It's like, that's all you need right there, really. If I was going to ink it, I might be a little bit more finessed about it, but the main thing you want to indicate in your art is where the light and the shadows and how they're working. Not trying to draw all the little details just perfect. Although, you know, when it comes to like that finishing stage, you do tend to get caught up in the details. But why I'm saying all this is because I've made those mistakes, guys. And I'm trying to improve all the time, you know. Been doing this. Well, I've been drawing probably since I was a kid, off and on. My mom even has video of me when I was 2 years old, and she said I would draw differently than other people, because I would kind of go around the whole picture, like over here, then over here, then over there. Whereas a lot of other kids my age, 2 years old, that picked up a crayon or a pencil, it was just different, she said, to watch me draw as opposed to them. So I guess she thought that was fascinating. Picked up an old VHS camera. That's what they had back then. They didn't have no stinking iPhones. Those things didn't come around till like 2009, 2010. Just not ancient history in the grand scheme of things. So back then with the VHS tapes, she just picked up a camera and recorded me. And I'm not saying I was great at 2 years old. I'm not a savant, but what was that she noticed that was just different was the way that I was drawing. So I don't know that would be interesting to you guys or not, but there you go. I think I was drawing like a horse that was like upside down, but I think I put his legs on where his head should be, and that was another side. Is like the way I thought. It's like nothing was like correct, you know. It was like, if you saw the artwork that I created later, especially in my 20s and stuff, that might make even more sense. Alright, we've gotten him pretty much blocked in here, and we don't have too much time left. Maybe just another 4 minutes or so. And so in that short amount of time, I am going to Um, I have been thinking about possibly at some point changing the format to go to 45 minutes, guys, because this half-hour thing is about killing me sometimes. I'll try to do it. Alright, we got a few minutes left. This guy's going to be mostly in shadow. He is going to be really loose. But I want to get a little bit more detailed before the show wraps up. And then, as I say, maybe later on, come back and tighten these all of these drawings up a bit and do another show. It's a way to have more shows and a way to show you a little bit more in detail how my process is for those interested. You can see my pencil here is pretty blunt. It's not overly sharp, and that allows me to block in these big shapes a little bit more easily. Eyes are probably not good. Eyes are probably some of the most important elements too, those eyes, because that's what you look at, you know, when you're looking into a drawing, looking into the soul of a creature or of a ghoul. But yeah, so I don't care if this goes a little bit over 35 minutes. Maybe we'll do 35. Sue me. I'm doing two figures in this one sometimes. It is true, like the more elements that a picture has, then the more complex it becomes when you have to think about more, draw more. And time-wise, we are almost at a half hour. I'm gonna go for maybe one or two more minutes. But I definitely don't want to go over 35 in this video. Just block in that tree a little bit more clearly. A couple strands of moss or foliage. These clouds are really not great. Pick them a little bit more. Maybe a few even moon details of craters. If I were to ink this, those would be super light. So I don't want to darken that moon too much. Creates the halo around this head. Okay. Sorry guys, my DSLR camera only works for, it only records at a maximum of like 29.5 minutes. So there's going to be one or two edits in these videos. Also, I never know if a mishap like the camera battery shutting off might happen. But, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. So maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll keep incoherently blathering all day here. But no. It's all there. The general layout, the composition, the movement in the piece that I was going for. And then through maybe another hour or so of fine-tuning, then I would consider it ready to ink. Now, in all reality, you could start inking already. But I don't want to be going too crazy with whiteout later. Although I'm not afraid of using whiteout if I have to. So to me, that's just another element. You know, it's like, yeah, you need it to be white there. Well, get the white out. It's like an eraser for a pencil. But for this video, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I've been really enjoying doing these Drawing on Friday shows, and hopefully you guys are enjoying them too. So if you have been enjoying watching me draw this picture, I'd sure appreciate a like and a share and a subscribe. I know everybody on YouTube says that, but I would appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the show. Here we have two zombies, one emerging from the earth and the other creeping up behind him. Thanks for watching the Landon Huber experience, and I'll catch you next time. See you guys.